Welcome, folks. This is Tom O'Brien of TFNN. We go 5 days a week. We go 9 hours a day. We go 24 hours a day on the internet at TFNN.com. Always remember, folks, whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows. Hope everyone had a great weekend, safe weekend. Let's make it a great week, folks. Let's take a look at one of our 4 agreements. To begin a great relationship, know what you want. Know what the needs of your body are, what the needs of your mind are, and what fits well with you. There are millions of men and women, and some of them will make a good match for you, and others won't. The two of you only need to be a key, like a key in a lock, a match that works. Market-wise, let's take a look at it out here. We had the Dow up 129, NASDAQ up 28, S&P's up 11, gold contract up $5.70, trading at $1,240 an ounce. Silver up 34 cents at $19.94 an ounce. Platinum flat at $1,362 an ounce. Copper up a penny at $3.32 a pound. Light sweet crude up 74 cents, trading at $97.34 a barrel. Bonds down 11 ticks at 129.10. King dollar down $1.75 at 80.04. You got the euro up 23 at 137, and the yen's trading down 20 at 103.01. My phone number is 877-927-6648. Give us a call, folks. I know what's going on in your world. In the world of the S&Ps, let's take a look at them. What do you have? Okay. So cash S&P, folks, our first high in the cash S&P was November 29th. November 29th, we're up there at 1813. We do a little dip down, 3 days, we go to 1779. We come back up, and we retest that high on December 9th. Now, the retest, dramatically lighter volume, and we come off that high with expanded volume. What we did up today, dramatically lighter volume. You're talking about 600, 500, it's probably, let's see, it's probably 600 by now. It's 596. Okay, at 681, it's the 681 going into 756 and 769. Bottom line, folks, you get a counter trend coming off a couple down days. Dow Industrials, what do we have with the Dow? Dow's up $1.29. The high in the Dow is established on the 29th of November. That's 16,174. We get down to a price point, 2 different dips. The first one brought you down to 751, 15,751. You did a counter trend bounce up there to 16,000. You come back down again last Friday, Thursday and Friday. You do a counter trend bounce out here today with lighter volume. We go over to the NASDAQ. Now, it's getting really interesting here about the NASDAQ and the NDX 100. That is actually less force. Hasn't come down as far yet, but absolutely less force than it's had, number one. And today, this counter trend bounce is about as weak as you can get. The composite itself, we did 1.6 billion shares. You're going into 1.9 billion, okay? So it's a big number. If we go to the SPY and you want to see how the setup is, the SPY, what the SPY did out here today is this. It did 85 million shares. The 85 million is going into 130. The Qs, different ball game. Well, okay, both of them had dramatically lighter volume. The difference is with the Qs couldn't hold price at all. The Qs, the high of today was 85.27. No, the high, I'm sorry, was 85.81. You closed at 85.32. We did 22 million, and that 22 was coming into 36. So it's a big number. And when we talk the Qs, let's go to our man Rick from British Columbia. Hey, Rick, what's going on?
How you doing? How you doing, Tom? Long time no talk.
I know, man. How you been?
Really good, thanks.
Good, man. It's good to hear from you. It must be getting cold up there now. I guess it's been cold up there for a while, probably right now, right?
Well, actually, it was cold, and the cool air happened to see the track of it. It went, Anchorage, us, straight south all the way to somewhere into California, Arizona, then went east, and then went back northeast into the New York area.
I know.
And that's where, so all that cool air, and when Texas got a bunch of snow, we started warming up, and Anchorage was actually warmer than Dallas.
Isn't that crazy? Oh, my God.
Yeah, it is.
That really
and right
is.
now, we got hit by wind pretty hard. We had no power for about 17 and a half hours. That was the longest I've ever been without power, but that was yesterday. But it's fairly, it's right around 0 right now for us. That's pretty cool.
Okay. Wow.
Pardon the press. But I'm looking at the Qs, and I put like a 10-year yearly on it,
Okay.
and quarterly and monthly and all that stuff, and the volume is absolutely sick.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay,
Like,
so here, so I'll start with a 10...
Put a 10-year yearly on it just for something for starters.
Okay.
And you can keep fooling around however you
Look
want.
at that. That's interesting. Okay, here, let me put a 20-year. I don't think the Qs have been alive for 20 years, but we'll see what they have. Okay, so if we do that, let's see. 2007 billion. Oh, it's interesting, though.
You see, this year is going to be lighter than last year. And, like a pullback to 60.
Look at how much
below
dramatically
there.
it's lighter, too. So check this out, folks. This is pretty cool. So last year, actually, it's pretty wild. Last year, the Qs, the high was $70. You did 11 billion. It's more than 11 billion. It's a year. That's going to be 11. Yeah, it's going to be a lot more than 11 billion. Well, it's 11. I have to figure out this on a yearly. 0.0108. I got to see how many other digits are behind it. The bottom line, it's 7.5 this year right now versus 11. So that is big. Let me put this on a quarterly, though. Let's see, a 10-year quarterly. Oh, yeah. This is pretty decisive. So what you have on a quarterly, folks, is this. The last time that we had any decent action, we're at 59. 59.83, and that was September of 2011. And from that point on, yeah, it's coming back. Today was...
And the IWM, if you did it on a yearly, the same thing, to 90. But I don't know if it's true or not, and I'm just starting to look it up right now.
Okay.
The PE of the IWM is supposed to be quite high relative to the S&P, and I know quite often you mentioned, when you just mentioned the Qs now, how they could be the weakest in the next little while, which it kind of looks like, but the IWM probably be following it as well. Okay.
Yeah, one of the tigers, man, Z in the den's telling me the PE of the IWM is 19.5, which is big,
Okay, it's 19.5. Okay.
Yeah, that's on a forward estimate, and it is.
Anyway, yeah, I was just curious, like on a quarterly and yearly, these things look like something dramatic could happen here. You know what I'm saying?
Well.
Plus, there's a Bradley date. I think it's January the 3rd, but I'll have to double-check
January 3rd. Folks, January 3rd.
Which makes a lot of sense, right?
Well, January 3rd, if you remember January 3rd in 2000, it was a freaking disaster. I mean, it was amazing.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, yeah.
I'll have to double-check that date, though. It's not hard to do. Just type
No, that's when...
up,
the week prior to that, folks, Qualcomm had gone up 240 points. And the week after that, I think it went down 300 and something points. Yeah,
right.
It was a mess. Well, it's going to have to do, basically with just markets that are overextended in a huge way, and the sell-off's going to be here. The real question is there something that's heavier to bring it down that much harder? Now, my take is that when this baby's turning, it's just going to be a turn for 3, 4, 5 months in a row. We'll see. The rates themselves. I mean, I don't see a crash, but I see markets, they want to go lower, man. I mean, we both know that when you go that dramatically higher, and it's the light of volume, it's only a matter of when, not if, so.
Yeah, well, and the funny part, what I don't understand is history repeats itself, and was it 2007 when we had the big crash? Like, we're a generation from the big crash of 29, right? And I don't know how they sugarcoated the market. You know what I'm saying? Like AIG down to $1, and give Obama credit for bailing out GM. It looks like that's worked out good for him. But everybody was in trouble. What I don't understand is where they find all this money to do all this stuff.
Well, we have the printing press. You only need liquidity. I mean, thank God they did it, really. Do you know what I mean? But you only need liquidity to get by that deal. That's kind of how, it works, because we're in a fiat society. I mean, and that's, you can see that the folks that stayed alive, anyone that was in the real estate business that stayed alive, that wasn't overextended, guess what? They make money now. And what happens, folks, is that when you look back 7 years is not a long time from going to hell back to heaven. So it's staying alive.
Yeah, and I just quickly put IBM on a yearly too, and you could see, it looks like probably 130 on IBM. just when this is going to happen, I don't know. But anyway, I just thought I'd bring all this up. Thanks, Tom.
Appreciate it, man. You have a great one, a safe one. You stay right there, folks. We got our man Tom from Derry, New Hampshire coming up next. Dow finished up 129, Nasdaq up 28, S&P's up 11. We're going to be right back.